welcome to this new video for my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Caro Herrera, and today I'm going to be talking about a story called Anna and the King, or The King and I. I shall be reviewing the book, which was written by Margaret Landon and published in 1943, and the 1989 movie directed by Andy Tennant and starring Jodie Foster, June Fat Cho, Tom Felton, Bai Ling, Geoffrey Palmer, among others. Anyways, this will be a spoiler-free video, so you can sit back and enjoy. Anna and the King is based on true events. Back in the 1860s, there was this English governess called Anna Leonowens who was hired by the Siamese king monk Kut to teach languages and other stuff to his children, wives, and concubines. So we follow Anna as she begins her work, whose responsibility also increases with time, seeing as the king asks her for help in other stuff as well. We got a good idea of what the Siamese court was like back in this period of history, and I learned tons about the culture, traditions, history, and religion of this place. Since Anna was ahead of her times regarding human rights and feminism, we also get an idea of the injustice many women faced around this time, including Anna because of her gender, as well as her opinions on slavery, because not only did she admire Abraham Lincoln and Harriet Beecher Stowe, but she also tried to free and help slaves in Siam more than once. Anna was in this post for around 6 years, but before and afterwards she traveled extensively all over the world, facing many personal hardships and losses as well as gaining fame and notoriety. Anna went on to publish her memoirs of this period of her life in 1870, in a book called The English Governess at the Siamese Court, which would later on inspire Margaret Landon to write a novel about Anna and her adventures, which is the one that I read, and I'm going to review. And I think that this novel, the one that Landon wrote, was the one that inspired the musical The King and I, which was later on adapted into a film in 1956 starring Deborah Kerr, Jules Briner, and Rita Moreno. Over the years there have been more than one adaptations of Anna and the King, but I haven't been able to see them all. Many of them aren't very historically accurate, though, seeing as they present Anna and the King developing feelings for each other, something that didn't happen in real life, at least not romantically. I give the book a 4 out of 5 stars review. Why? Well, because even though I did enjoy it, and I learned tons, and I did feel as if I was traveling back in time and into the world that it presents, it didn't quite engage me the other way similar epic stories of English people living in the Far East have done that are set in the 19th and 20th century. And the reason why this is because I prefer this sort of books or stories to be full of romance. And that doesn't happen in this book, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But that's personally why I'm not giving it a 5 out of 5 stars rating. And I'm not quite sure how historically accurate it is, but in the end I did like to get to know Anna and reading in more detail about her life. But what I found most fascinating was all of the stories that she presents about the hardships women face while living at the court of the King of Siam. How they try to overcome adversities, how they try to rebel against their lot in life, whether they were concubines, slaves. And I like that there was a lot of emphasis on the friendships that Anna made through the years, especially because they were good and true, and there were examples of women helping each other out as they lived under a harem set that was the walls of the harem of the King of Siam. I really love the movie and I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars review. I don't think it's very historically accurate, and this does prove to be a double-edged sword because I am a history lover, so a part of me wishes that we were actually seeing the real story, but I'm also a helpless romantic and the movie is quite corny in that sense, so that was a nice touch, seeing how Anna and the King grew closer. And also, talking about the king, in the movie he's portrayed as being more gallant and noble and charming, and the impression I had of him from reading the book wasn't exactly that of him cutting the romantic figure stereotype character. But yeah, overall it's a lovely period drama with gorgeous costumes and landscapes, good acting, the pace of it is really enjoyable, and I enjoyed the performances of the two main leads and how they show themselves falling in love with the other. And I have done ever since I was a child and I first saw the movie. Okay, so I've always loved watching period dramas ever since I was a little girl. That's why it doesn't surprise me that I really liked Anna and the King since I was a child. I remember that I also liked watching an animated film, also from 1999, about this story. So there is a chance that was my introduction to a story of Anna and the King. But yeah, anyways, I remember that in my middle school's library they had this book on Anna, but I can't remember if it was Margaret Landon's novel or Anna's actual memoirs of her time in Siam, because I didn't read the book back then, because I didn't feel like I was ready for it when I was around 16. But my interest in the story never faded. It was always in the back of my mind to one day read it. And looking back, it doesn't surprise me, since my favorite sort of stories, as I've said, are pure dramas, and they're usually about English people living in the colonies of the British Empire during the 19th and 20th centuries. So yeah, when I bought Margaret Landon's book, I also actually bought Anne's memoirs, but I'm not gonna read the latter for a while yet. But when I do, I shall review them. Oh, and the reason why I sort of remember that I bought them was because I was watching this video on YouTube where Emily Blunt and Hugh Jackman were interviewing each other, and they were talking about musicals, and Emily Blunt said that she would like to appear in Anna and the King, or The King and I, which reminds me that I've never actually seen the famous 1956 version. Why? I have no idea, seeing as I really enjoy musicals and old Hollywood movies, and I am familiar with Kirsten Briner's works, which I have liked, but I don't know, I guess that the memory of the 1989 film is still too present in my mind for that. But yeah, anyways, this is all I have to say for this story at the moment. Thank you so much for watching my review of the book and the movie. Please let me know if you enjoyed it or not, as well as what are your own thoughts on Anna and the King / The King and I, because I would love to talk about it with you. In the description box below, you can find a link to the IMDB page for the movie, as well as a link to the book's Goodreads page. And well, I'm Caro Herrera, the Mental Traveler, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye!